Next up, a special presentation. The show proved very popular last year, so we're bringing it back again. Longshots. We're looking forward to betting at this year's Breeders' Cup. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatel, coming to you from the Little House on the East Side, and I'm joined and thrilled to be joined today by one of my favorite handicappers and TV hosts. She's Michelle Yu. What's going on, Michelle?
Oh, not much, Pete. Just the calm before the storm.
Yeah, and it's already, the calm is already ending as we start to get some more word on exactly who's going to be here and the real nitty gritty of the handicapping begin. But you're well known as somebody who loves a long shot, and I have a feeling you might have some horses in your back pocket already that you're looking forward to bet. You know, we're sort of using a loose guide of long shot here. We were looking at international odds, trying to find horses 10-1 or better. So in some instances, we may just be cherry picking some prices that are wrong as opposed to pointing out true long shots, but we'll see how we get on. Why don't you kick us off? We'll go from five down to one with a little break for an honorable mention before our number one in an inimitable.
All right, I'll start with like my least sure one. How about that? For me, it's going to be pretty mischievous. I think that everyone's going to be looking at the older fillies, Clairiere, Idiomatic, and she is a 3-year-old against older, so I feel like it's deservingly so that you should be looking at the elder statesman. But when you look at her body of work this year, where she's traveled, what she's done, how he's gone sprint to route to sprint to route, I just feel like Pretty Mischievous has put together a really solid body of work. Is she good enough to be Idiomatic on her best day? I don't know. But if Idiomatic and Adair Manor go out and kind of tussle with each other early and they falter, I know who's going to be coming late. And to me, it's Pretty Mischievous. I know a lot of people think that Santa Anita is super speed favoring. I don't necessarily agree on that. You won't see, maybe a stone cold closer, but we're not going to be everything running around like a dog and pony show over here. So I think that for the price that I expect her to be at, the price she is in the internationals right now, Pretty Mischievous is absolutely worth a look.
Feels like one who will be 10-1 plus. I'll give you one from the same race. I'm going out of order here to just to mirror, since we're talking about horses that might benefit from a big pace in the distaff. To this point in our coverage, I've been talking up Clairiere as one I'm very interested in, but her price
was really good, by the way.
Something must have happened because her price has basically halved overnight. So there's a lot of positive buzz, but that's going to take her out of the realm of what I can comfortably call a long shot. But I'm going to throw in another one that I'm going to be using probably more for underneath because I really like Clairiere in the spot. But Wet Paint, I feel like, is a little bit forgotten coming into here. And for all the reasons you're touting Pretty Mischievous as one who could be in that great spot if they do go too fast, I think you could say similar about Wet Paint as a really big price. So both you and I, we're not ruling out the 3-year-olds stepping up against their elders here.
I think you and I can go head to head in that race too.
I don't mind that at all. We'll each play. I'm good with that, actually.
I like that.
Going for a bottle of Vouv. How about that? How's that?
That you know how I like to roll, PTF.
Let's move to my next one. We'll sort of do the snake draft order here. For my fourth long shot, I'm looking forward to betting. This might be one of those that's not really a long shot come the day, but right now, if you were in a civilized place where you could do anti-post betting, Motorious available at 10-1. This is a horse we know. We're on the same one here.
Well, Levy's 11-1. It's crazy.
I know. You're the guest. I'll let you make the case. I don't want to steal my guest thunder.
Look, Motorious, I've just been a fan of his since he was first around at Santa Anita. I even made him a theme song. It's Motorious, boom, 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 Motorious. Okay.
Duran who made that.
I also wasn't necessarily sure. I loved him going to flat 5, but he really showed me last time that he can motor. I think he's going to have so much pace up front to run into. Obviously, he's at his home track. I think that Phil is such a master at getting horses ready to go for a big race day. And I'm not, concerned that we haven't seen a ton of him this year. We saw what we needed to see from him over at Del Mar. And if he's going to be in double-digit odds at any sort, he's an absolute play for me. He loves Santa Anita. He's got the right conditioner. He has the right rider. He's going to have the right pace set up. So I'm going to be like, Motorious all the way to the champagne room.
I love it, Michelle. That's fantastic stuff. I'll step on you. I don't have much to add. You made the Motorious case so perfectly. I'm just going to use a similar angle on a horse that is internationally been about 8 or 10 to 1. And I think, like Motorius, should probably really be about half of that. How about Speedboat Beach coming back in the Breeders' Cup Sprint? This is a horse that, with all that time away, to come back in that kind of form almost has to move up. I just see this as a horse that's going to get a little bit of a piece. If not, I mean, I love Elite Power, so I'm not, anti-Elite Power in any way, shape, or form. But Speedboat Beach, huge opportunity to be the exacta partner with that one, I think, in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. From a condition point of view, just has to move forward and has those fast figures and really just looks to me to be one poised to move up and do something cool.
Well, since you're going Breeders' Cup Sprint, I'll go ahead and do one from there as well, because for me, it's the Chosen Run. Cowbreds never get any respect whatsoever. All this horse has done is win, win, win. He's won against Open Company. He's a multiple graded stakes winner. He dominates Cowbreds. They've run him on every surface, every distance. He is your quintessential Cowbred, and I think he absolutely deserves a shot in here. I don't even think that he needs to improve all that much. He's kind of as good as he is. If he can just maintain this level of good at his home track, I think he has a really great shot to hit the board there. Like you said, I think Elite Power is such a international superstar. We know how good he is. But for the Chosen Run to hit the board at a good price, I don't think would be disappointing at all. And I think that he's just the best little story. So for me, I'm going to back the Chosen Run. I'm certainly going to play him if he's any kind of good odds. And I'm going to throw Hoist the Gold into all of my tickets, because that horse, I don't think could win. Like, I would put like 3 other horse on top, but like anything I'm playing exotics second and below, Hoist the Gold's that horse of Dallas Stewart's that can jump up at 30 to 1 or 40 to 1 or 20, whatever price he's going to be, and take home a check. And you're like, damn it, I just, went over that horse and I totally should have played him, because he's come out here on multiple occasions and run decently enough to say he could be competitive in this spot. And I do think our sprint race is going to be a little short on horses.
Interesting. That's very interesting. There's been a bunch of names bandied about. We'll see how it comes together. But yes, we have seen that movie before with the Dallas Stewart long shot on the big days coming in and paying dividends. And I like your point on the Chosen Run. Not far behind on figures, and a very interesting one. And like you say, a great story as well. Just such a cool Cowbred who we really enjoyed watching that progression.
I mean, he's looking for, he had 8 in a row or 9 in a row. Like, it's cool. It's a throwback thing to do. And the way he's done it from a versatility standpoint makes him just way more of a great story. Watching him train, by the way, he's a beast.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, I was thinking about that one as a potential include, and you're pushing me in that direction for my exotics under Elite Power. My second long shot, we'll do the second, we'll do the honorable mention, and we'll do the first. My second long shot, I'm going to go to the Classic, and this might be another one. I can't tell. This might be one where the big international price is actually accurate, because there's been so much hype on the 3-year-olds who are dominating the top of the market for the Classic. I think it's more open than that. And the horse who's catching my eye just at the prices, and you tell me if I'm nuts, is Zandon. This is a horse who I think is maybe finally figuring things out, finally coming into his own. Obviously was easily handled by White Abarrio 2 back, but I just love the way he stepped up. And I feel like giving him another crack at White Abarrio in a spot like this as a horse that could be 10 to 1, and I think has absolutely every shot to hit the board as one just, coming into his own. Late bloomer, as it were. What do you think about Zandon? And give me your second choice. You just don't like him at all. That's okay. That's okay. We can just. Do you have one for the Classic to head me with? It's got to be a 10 to 1 though.
Well, I mean, here's my thing: is I kind of like. Look, I think it's going to be. I think Arabian Night's going to win the Classic. Okay, so I'll just lay it out there. Right. But I don't know if Practical Move is going to go Classic or Dirt Mile.
I think Dirt Mile.
I feel like they're leaning Dirt Mile. But you never know. If they get a crazy up their butt, this horse could win the Classic. He's been training so good. I know his comeback race was just a short field. It was kind of like almost a gimme, but he was a good horse to begin with. I think that he deserves to have his name thrown around with these Classic contenders. I wouldn't be surprised to see them cross enter, and maybe they end up going Classic. And if they do, I'll be playing him. If not, I was kind of on the Saudi Crown bandwagon, but I did not love his last work. I know a lot of people did, where he worked with Matera and kind of came from right off of her. It was okay. It wasn't.
What did you like about it?
I don't know. It was like, I guess the way everyone was like talking about it, I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. He's going to blow someone out of the water. And I mean, he made up some ground, but he was working pretty hard. Like it was a nice stiff drill, but it wasn't the ease that I want to see. I can't wait to see him training out here and see how he gets over the surface. So I kind of went from being really on his bandwagon as a horse that could step up to like, now I'm really just, I'm leaning towards Arabian Night, and maybe I'll get a good price on him because everyone seems to back Arcangelo. I'm not going to use Arcangelo.
Really? You have something legitimately against him, or it's just price?
The owner is fantastic. He was on our podcast. I love him. Like if they win, yay. Like obviously I want to cheer for Jenna Antonucci. I love gray horses, but I don't back Arcangelo. Like I haven't yet. I'm gonna stay off of the Arcangelo bandwagon. So I'm playing against. So that could be like my biggest price thing if he does end up going off favorite.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're giving a lot of info beyond just the normal parameters of what we're meant to discuss. Who else do you have left on your list who we haven't covered yet?
So my last horse is Up to the Mark. Rapoli did tell us that he is going to be going in the turf, which I think everyone thinks is wild. And it is, right? Like Mostadef is an absolute beast. If King of Steel comes over here, he's a beast. But, and August Rodin, he's a beast. But Up to the Mark is like one of the best turf horses that we've had in North America in a while. And I think that the more ground for him is the better. In fact, the reason I didn't pick him on the NBC show in the turf mile was because I thought like he needed just more ground. I didn't think he'd be able to get there. I really thought like a mile and a 16th, mile and an eighth, a little bit like the further the better for him. So I thought that a mile would just be too sharp. And he proved me wrong. He proved that he can deliver that devastating closing kick. I mean, he's got a closing kick like you see the Euros do. He unleashes late. So the fact that they had a couple options with him and they opt to go in this spot, I think he's going to be a good price because I think people are going to say he's a miler and we have too many Euros in there. But I think the Up to the Mark is every bit as good as the majority of those Euros. And if he can deliver a closing kick like he did at Keeneland, then he's going to be set up for a big race.
I had him as my honorable mention for a lot of the same reasons. It just feels like the best American turf horse since Bricks and Mortar. I'm not saying he's as good as Bricks and Mortar. I don't think he is, but a horse that shouldn't be counted out. And I do think has every chance, especially in international markets, of being 10-1 or higher. Should be, with that prep. I think this was kind of the plan all along. And I think he'll be ready to fire a big one. It could absolutely get up into the number. So I have an official number one. Are you out of picks, or do you have one more for us?
I'm out of horses. Who is your official number one?
My official number one is in Italian in the filly and mare turf. Now,
you think she's going to be a price?
Yes, I do, right? Because the international contingent is so strong. I mean, right now, you could get 12-1 right now. Now, she could only be 8-1, I think, in this spot. I mean, Inspiral and Warm Heart are going to take all the money. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a surprise Euro in there as well. And I think at this sort of cheater's mile and a quarter that they're going to be running on at Santa Anita, there's a chance she could forget to stop. And I just think that the recent form it's okay, but it doesn't seem as strong as it was last year coming in. And I feel like she could legitimately get ignored. I've already backed her, and yeah, she'd be my number one long shot. I'm looking forward to backing at the Breeders' Cup.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the filly and mare turf, or else we'll turn the conversation to everything you've got going on?
I did not see. You know what? I feel like it's kind of like Chad Brown versus the world in there. And until I see them here, I didn't have a really strong opinion in that race. And I feel like every year I kind of have that where I want to see these horses when they get over here. And I've done decently enough, like my Del Mar mare. And like there was a couple of good horses that ended up running well once we saw them. To me, that's not a race that's as handicapable up front.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, and we're looking forward to hearing your opinions. Hopefully, you're going to be doing some fun stuff with me, talking about what you see in the mornings. What else do you have cooking? Where else can people find your work leading into Breeders' Cup and on the big day?
Well, obviously we have the podcast, the Owner's Box here that we record every week. Next week, we're going to be doing our Breeders' Cup draft where we kind of go through and pick a horse for each race. And then we tally up the points, and it's all for charity. So it's a really fun event. It's myself and Billy Koch, my co-host, Gabby Gaudet and Jay Privman. And I think last year Billy kicked our butts. He said, but like, I felt like I won, but maybe I was thinking about I was thinking about the Derby one that I won with you guys.
Yes, you did. You did well in our Derby one, but you can't let Billy be taking credit though if he didn't win. You gotta.
I don't know. I don't do maths. You know I don't do maths. So like I don't take care of any of that. I just talk and then like someone tells me if I won or didn't win.
Well, we will. We'll have an official note taker, and we're going to keep careful track of these points. I know Justin.
That's what I like to hear.
I'll text them after the show, and that's great. I mean, Jay and Gabby, that's terrific guests. You and Billy always do great stuff. What about?
And then I'll be there all week at Breeders' Cup. Obviously, I'll be on the work show presented to you by FanDuel. So I will be there for the week leading up to Breeders' Cup, and then I'll be participating in the World Feed Players Show for Breeders' Cup weekend, as well as hosting the World Feed Golden Hour for anybody that's watching international.
Oh, that's so cool. Love that. All right. Well, I'm excited to get to see you out there. We're going to do some karaoke. We're going to have lots of fun, and it's going to be a blast. Michelle, thank you so much.
I can't do karaoke. I can't. Look at my voice. If I karaoke, my voice will be ruined.
You'll pick a nice, easy song. You can talk, sing it. Don't be a wimp. We'll get you there. You can sing "Notorious" by Duran Duran. How about that? And you can whisper. Michelle, you're the best. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Pete.